since its introduction during the fight against Kaido in Chapter 1044 of Eiichiro Oda's One Piece. Luffy's awakened Gear 5 form has taken the world by storm. Celebrated for the cartoonish antics it has incorporated into the fighting style of the Straw Hat Captain, as well as the massive step forward it represents in his journey to becoming the next Pirate King. Gear 5 has placed Luffy in an entirely new class of the power scaling system in One Piece, far beyond what its predecessor, Gear 4, could hope to achieve. It is with this form that Luffy was finally able to defeat Kaido, captain of the beasts, pirates, and the strongest creature in the world, to liberate the country of Wano from his tyranny, and in the process, become one of the new emperors of the sea. The debut of this form was also accompanied by the revelation that the Goma Goma no Mi was not actually a paramecia-type devil fruit, but rather a mythical Zoan in disguise, which was historically known as the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika. This piece of news also expanded on the lore of the fruit, where the 5 elders described it as one of the most ridiculously powerful ones in the story, having eluded the efforts of the world government for nearly 800 years since the end of the Void Century. Considering the drastic change in the world order after the Wano arc, it is certain that Luffy will now begin to take on some of the most powerful combatants in the world of One Piece from this point onwards. In terms of the world government's strongest resources, the 3 Admirals are said to be the most devastating fighters among the Marines, and it might not be long before Luffy goes toe-to-toe with one or more of them. With this in mind, the power-up granted by Gear 5, although significant, has still not been explored to its fullest extent, much like the full capabilities of the Admirals themselves. A fight against the Admirals is quite inevitable, and may even occur during the Straw Hat's journey to Elbaf. In this regard, many fans will now begin to ponder how likely it is for Luffy to emerge victorious against an Admiral, now that he is an Emperor of the Sea. How strong is Gear 5 Luffy? Like other awakened Zoan fruits, Gear 5 is a drastic improvement in Luffy's strength, speed, durability, as well as an upgrade to his standard rubber powers. As inferred from his fight against Kaido, this form far surpasses the already devastating power of Gear 4, at a level where he can easily defeat the likes of Rob Lucci's awakened Zoan form without any hassle. When comparing how much Luffy struggled against Lucci during the Enies Lobby arc, the power-up afforded to him by Gear 5 is almost ridiculous, where no amount of development on Lucci's part can put him anywhere close to Luffy's current level. His malleability in his rubber form also reaches new heights, where he can deform his own body to insane extents in order to absorb the force of an attack and return to normal virtually instantaneously. Luffy's recuperation also gains an added boost, and is active at all times, even when he is not consciously focusing on it. One of the most potent benefits of this new form is his ability to turn the surrounding environment into rubber, and use it to his advantage. As such, the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika's awakening, possesses properties that are similar to both Zoan and Paramecia types, making its powers an anomaly within the world of devil fruits. An almost surrealistic and slapstick influence touch is imparted by Gear 5 to Luffy's fighting style, where Kaido himself remarked that it was like something out of a picture book. Intangible substance such as lightning, or even the very ground itself, can be reshaped to create or deflect attacks. Gear 5 permits Luffy to instantly switch between the limb and muscle inflation techniques of Gear 3 and 4. With the speed of Gear 2, he can even expand his entire body to gargantuan proportions and take on the form of a giant, as he did against Kaido. All in all, Luffy is only constrained by the limits of his imagination in this form, which speaks volumes of the explosive power it provides. The only downside is that Luffy is still not able to deal with its drawbacks as easily as his other forms, since he visibly ages after deactivating the state, even if he can trigger it once again by simply altering the rhythm of his heartbeat to match the drums of liberation. Pitted against the Navy's strongest. In their original incarnation, the 3 Admirals were all Logia-type users, with only Fleet Admiral Sengoku in possession of a mythical Zoan, the Hito Hito no Mi model, Daibutsu. Luffy and Fujitora have not fought in an outright confrontation, much like in the case of Ryukugyu, and the true extent of their power is still yet to be ascertained, but it is worth noting that Shanks completely overwhelmed the latter Admiral with little to no effort. If Luffy were to become Pirate King, he would definitely need to surpass Shanks. In this case, it is safe to say that with further mastery of Gear 5, to negate its drawbacks, as well as a bit more proficiency in his use of Conqueror's Haki-infused attacks, Luffy should be able to defeat the two Admirals by the end of the story. It is safe to say that Akainu, now Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, boasts the most offensive power among the original trio, which featured Aokiji and Kizaru, with his Magu Magu no Mi infused attacks shown to be able to destroy virtually anything in their path. Even if Luffy can withstand Kaido's blast breath attacks and incur little to no damage, it is highly likely that he will find Sakazuki's far more troublesome. His mastery of Haki might be the only difference between the two, as Sakazuki's own proficiency at using all three types of Haki is yet to be shown. A matchup between Luffy and the Fleet Admiral is most likely on the cards, especially since he was the one responsible for Ace's death. Therefore, this battle would be a fitting resolution to the traumatic experiences the Straw Hat Captain endured in Marineford, to showcase how far he has come from feeling completely helpless while watching his sworn brother die before his eyes. Next among them, Kizaru's speed and devastating explosive powers are also issues that Luffy will have to confront when taking on this laid-back monster. A similar situation arises in the case of Aokiji, although Luffy also has flame-based attacks in his arsenal to negate, or at least alleviate the threat of Aokiji being able to subdue opponents inside massive coffins of ice. Once again, the battles may be very close to call, but with a little more training, Luffy might just emerge victorious due to the near-infinite countermeasures he can now use to deal with the abilities of these two extremely powerful individuals. Hence, it is quite possible that Luffy would be the victor in one-on-one fights against the current and former Admirals, save for maybe Sakazuki, although the battles will be extremely hard fought in each case. The question of whether he will win against two or more of them is a different matter entirely, as there are far more variables to consider depending on the different permutations that can occur. As the final saga of One Piece is beginning to heat up, Luffy is likely to reach even greater heights in due time, growing immeasurably stronger on his path to attain true freedom on the seas and become the next pirate king. As a result, this much-awaited fight against the Admirals, the Marines' greatest assets, appears closer than ever, and it is anybody's bet to see who will come out as the victor. And in other news, One Piece, 8 Marines who would be excellent pirates. The Marines are one of the biggest organizations in the world of One Piece. It has been created by the world government to ensure that peace and justice prevail. The Marines have some of the most powerful One Piece characters in their ranks, which is why they have taken down many notable pirates. Pirates and Marines are fierce enemies, and they are always at each other's throats. But what if some Marines were to leave their roles and become pirates? It is quite apparent that some of them would be much better than the rest. So, here are the Marines who would become excellent pirates. Akainu. Akainu is the Fleet Admiral of the Marines, which means he has the highest authority in the organization. He possesses the Magu Magu no Mi, a Logia-type devil fruit that allows him to create and control magma at will. The heat of the magma is only supplanted by his burning desire to serve justice. Considering his hatred toward ruffians, one might find it hard to picture Akainu as a pirate, but if he were to become one, he would be absolutely incredible. Akainu would set out to claim the One Piece, and he would lay waste to every opponent who tried to step in his way. According to Oda, if Akainu were the protagonist of One Piece, the series would have come to an end within a year. Needless to say, it will be interesting to see Akainu in the role of a pirate. Monkey D. Garp. Monkey D. Garp is Luffy's grandfather and the hero of the Marines. He has been a part of some of the biggest events in the history of the series. In his prime, Garp was able to fight against Gul D. Roger, and the two shared a great deal of respect. Despite being a Marine, Garp does not follow the rules. He even rejected promotions because he didn't want to become a puppet in the hands of the world government. This is the same sense of freedom that every member of the Monkey D family has. If Garp were a pirate, he would enjoy being free and doing whatever he wanted. Smoker. Smoker is a vice admiral who was originally stationed in Low Town. His job was to prevent more pirates from stepping foot in the Grand Line. After Luffy managed to escape from his grasp, the Marine chased him in the Grand Line. Smoker is an honorable man who stands up against injustice. He has also rebelled many times against his superiors because of his personal opinions. Smoker was seemingly inspired by Gul D. Roger, as he witnessed the Pirate King smiling before his execution. As a pirate, Smoker's style would be a lot like Luffy's. Axe-Hand Morgan. Morgan was one of the main antagonists of the Romance Dawn arc. Morgan was a Marine captain, and he held absolute authority over everyone in the Shell's town base. He was the furthest thing from an ideal Marine. In fact, he was eviler than the pirates. Morgan had terrorized the people of Shell's town, and they were scared to go against his commands. Due to his reputation, his son, Helmeppo, also ran amok. There is no denying that Morgan would have made an excellent pirate. Given his malevolent nature, he would represent real-life pirates flawlessly. Tashigi. Tashigi is Smoker's underling and his most trusted companion. The two of them worked in Low Town and tried to capture pirates before they had an opportunity to go to the Grand Line. While Tashigi does not have any special abilities, she does have the spirit required to become a cool pirate. Tashigi's goal is to collect all the named swords, and if she decided to become a pirate, she would have a much better chance of doing so. Ryukugyu. Ryukugyu became an admiral during the 2-year time skip, but he didn't make an appearance until the end of the Wano Country arc. Ryukugyu possesses the Mori Mori no Mi, which is a Logia-type devil fruit. It allows Ryukugyu to create and manipulate plant life at will. Ryukugyu is quite casual in his approach, and he doesn't hesitate to speak his mind. Like pirates, Ryukugyu seems to have a fondness for alcohol, as he openly criticized the members of the Beast's pirates for their inferior booze. Ryukugyu also has the tendency to disobey orders if he feels like it. All these attributes would make him a great pirate. Jaguar D. Sol. Jaguar D. Sol was to be a vice admiral who worked for the Marines before the Ohara incident. After he discovered what the world government planned to do to the people, he left his position and escaped. Sol wanted to stay far away from Ohara, but fate brought him to the island. There, Sol met Robin, and the two became friends. Sol sacrificed himself to protect Robin. Given that he has a strong conscience, he would work better as a pirate. He would have the freedom of choice, enabling him to make decisions on his own. Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci might not be a regular Marine, but he is affiliated with the world government. From a young age, Lucci was trained in the ways of assassins. Once his training was complete, Lucci became a full-fledged weapon of destruction. He was introduced in the Water 7 arc as a member of CP9, and given his ruthlessness, he was a perfect fit for the organization. Lucci's dark persona would work really well even if he were a pirate. He could move from one place to another, killing multiple people without anyone holding him accountable. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.